Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Rome 2 with the Caesar and Gaul campaign. We've had a bit of trouble with the mods, so I've decided to narrow down the list. The problem was, of course, probably said this too many times, but just to recap it, I selected all of them, which you weren't supposed to do. I've reduced it now to 3. Which I can't actually mention right now because I don't know exactly which they all are. One of them was the alternative shield ones, which doesn't do that much, but that's the only one I remembered. It's like the main one and the people's one. So we still have the people thing with the different types of people and stuff. But the money has changed quite drastically. You can tell by the fact that my income has increased and recruiting legionnaires have been very much cheapened. It's dropped the cost by 1/5, and I would say it has increased my income by, say, what? It has tripled it, roughly, I believe. So that's where we are right now. Hopefully at this point I will actually be able to recruit enough legions to actually do anything, because the problem is we're moving forward, taking one region, then I don't have enough legions to actually hold it. I'll push back to my strong points, and yeah, they swarm at us from all sides, and that is exactly what's happening now as well. Roughly, the current position of the different legions is we got the 10th under Caesar up here in Tulsa. Oh yeah, you might be wondering what happened here. So I was trying out different methods and I raised it, but then I left it thinking that you know, there was no point in holding it because the enemy was going to take it. The enemy didn't take it, but since I left it there, it turned into slums and all kinds of bad stuff. So they actually revolted, and it popped up their own little faction, which the Averni didn't crush. They're actually kind of allied with them, but at least these guys are not at war with me. Then we've got Mark Anthony and the 13 down here in Narbo, just because they like, for some reason, to attack Narbo. Because it's unprotected and it kind of cuts off Caesar. So I need something here to protect Narbo. Right now all the bloody witches has turned up, causing mayhem all over the place. Should probably see about assassinating those and their scouts. They have been known to attack through this route. Right, we've got nothing over here. Then we got the 1st, at this point, marching at speed to Octojurum, which is currently only held by the... Well, this says it's the 8th Legion, but it really isn't. It's one of the barbarian commanders, which I bribed, and he actually survived. His army did not kill him, which was unfortunate, because then he ended up in my retinue, so... I put him to use by making him kind of the commander of this region, and the idea was actually at the time to just spam or buy up all the different mercenaries, and then have these mercenaries, this mercenary army, act as a sort of attack just to take stuff like this. That's unprotected towns, and just take and claim them, quickly move around, and basically an expendable force also to drag the enemy's attention away. But at this point, it's not going that way, because Vercingetorix is back from holiday, wherever he's been, recovering from that wound he received a few turns ago, quite a few turns ago at this point, I believe. So he is on the march here, and he's kind of teamed up with the Nervi, and he's brought a second army with him, like one wasn't enough, and they're marching down on Octojurum. If they pass through Octojurum, they open up for these two, and we saw how much income I lost last time that happened. And with the change, with the increased income and so forth, I am able to recruit a new legion. I asked you in the last episode which one you wanted, but I couldn't wait for anyone to actually respond. Last time I checked, there was actually, or at this time, there was only one comment by one avid viewer who has commented on almost all, I think, and he's been really helpful. And yeah, but I decided to go for the 12th because, I don't know, I just took the 12th. And as we can see, I'm actually able to quite easily recruit a full legion. Hopefully I'll get quite a few of those. Given the upkeep and so forth, I could probably get even a 5th legion as well as 5 legions, which would do an immense difference on the battlefield. The thing is, I imagine that change also affects the enemy, so it could very well be that the enemy, what am I looking for there? Could very well be that the enemy is increasing their income as well. Right, so here's a bit of a strategic view right now. So our our legions, 10th, 13th, the 1st, the 12th, and then the enemy armies. We've got one over here, one over there, one over here, and then we've got 3 over here. But as we've seen, I think I've showed in another one that there's plenty more armies that we currently aren't seeing. The thing right now is that we're actually in late December, so we're like just a turn away from actually going into winter, which is why I've encamped these guys. We're not planning on any campaigns right now. What we're expecting though is some kind of defensive battle over at Octojurum. Hopefully we can just have these guys die during winter out there, kind of lock them out. But we'll see what happens. And with that said, I'm going to end turn, and we're going to kind of see what happens. Now I said see what happens twice, but that's what we're going to do. And yeah, if nothing happens, then I'll meet you again in springtime, hopefully ready with possibly 2 new legions. So let's go ahead and end turn and see what the enemy is up to. We have completed the research of support Syrian claim with Gaul under my command. It's not really called it under my command. Pompey will take Spain and Crassus should have Syria. I'm not entirely sure. Oh, one of our spies is recovered. Attrition report from Octojurum, which is currently under siege. Very nice that he came back. Then maybe he can't assassinate, but he can miscredit, which doesn't really do that much. Same with this one. Then since you're a spy, then you will go and spy for me. And maybe what I could do is I can bring in these guys. Recruit agent, 10% chance. That's not great. How about you though? 9%. Even worse. 4%. Right, great. I bring it down a lot of these. I'm kind of hoping, hopefully these guys stay out of the war. They're not too happy with me. Past war with, yeah, we were at war with them. Expansionism and cultural aversion. Yeah, war is looming with this little crap faction. As we go over though, nice. I like how these guys have stationed themselves out in the snow. There's nothing here, but the thing is, marching through the snow will kill loads of men, and then fighting a battle and then trying to go back without being killed off by the enemy. I like the fact that these idiots are standing out in the snow rather than hunkering down in the city. This legion is almost complete. It cost me... There's still a heavy upkeep for the troops. 400 per unit. And so that's almost 4,000 for this army then, because I have over 10 of them. But hopefully we'll be able to move that soon. So right now these bastards are laying siege to Durham, which, I mean, it could withstand an assault, I believe. Can I see where the manpower? Possibly not, actually. But I think just by the towers and stuff, that could probably whittle down the enemy. The thing, however, and the problem is, if I bring in my the first legion to attack them, then most likely what would happen is that they could call upon the reinforcement of the Averni, possibly. We'll have to march through the devilish snow because we need to aid the city, which, as you can see, just by that small march, say this unit, which has normally 190, is now 160, so it lost, what, 28 men on that little march through the snow. However, they are here now, and we cannot reach them. I wonder, attacking out. Oh. Also, I have this guy, but I haven't put him up to being any good at sabotaging. And I mean, I don't see the first legion being able to take on all three. What you really need to do is sabotage these guys. In what unit would be best to try and dissolve? How about the cavalry? The cavalry is always nasty. And he failed. Thing is, these guys are suffering attrition now. Not as much as us, they lost 20 men per unit roughly. So it's not as bad as us. Could be that the commander is only a 1-star, so that's very unlikely. But we'll see. I'm gonna go ahead and end one more turn, and then we're gonna see if we cannot move around and attack these guys, or if they are going to attack the city, which would be the best option. But I think they're actually gonna try and siege it out. Let's go ahead and end turn and find out what they're up to. Right, we have the end turn there. Enemy wounded over at somewhere over here, trying to do something against us. And then we have garrison army and that legion that's being held up. Crassus Longinus gets a rank, and so does, what's he called? Vespasianus. Yes, hidden agent exposed, troops recruited, stuff being built, slave trader. I've gone for a lot of slave traders all over the place. I've seen armies move around a bit out here in the snow, and one important thing is the 2 armies that were here have now actually moved away. What we're gonna do is we're gonna try to successfully disband that cavalry unit again, see if we can get a better offer this time, and we were successful. We remove that cavalry, leaving only the general cavalry unit, which should help us quite a lot. And the legion has lost even more men during the snow. The thing is, neither us nor the enemy is going to get any better during winter. The problem is that we're going to have to attack. I wonder if I can attack from the city out towards him and bank on these guys to support them, because that way I don't have to move this one around, losing even more men, because at this point, as you can see, we've lost close to 40 men, 32 actually, for all the legionary units, which is not great. But if I can drag these guys in there, but I don't want to risk it though. So since it's so much hanging on the line, I'm actually gonna go ahead and save just in case. We're gonna not save over 32. What we're gonna do is we're gonna save 33. So that's almost one for every turn. And we do get them their support. It gives us basically no chance whatsoever to win the fight, but it's better than to slowly die by the snow. Wait, reinforcing 1800. Oh no, we're not actually getting their support. Decline attack. We're not getting that support. That's just a town. Right, I want you to move closer. And now maybe we'll get the support. No. How close do I have to be then? I am right next to the town at this point. Oh, and now they moved away because First Legion was so close, and now when we're so close to town, we're actually getting supported, and they're just out in the snow dying, which is great. Unfortunately then, that means that no battle will ensue. So I guess I'll see you once spring comes. And we're back with the spring. So the first order of business for the newly recruited 12th Legion was to recapture Vaiso, or however you want to pronounce it, and in so doing, completing this province. And it's we're gonna actually go for, I think, cultural conversion for this one. Cultural development is this one called. Research rate is included. That one is actually good. Cultural development, owning faction cultural influence +4, spreading own faction's culture to neighboring province +2. Wealth is not that great, but we get research rate as well, which is pretty great. So we're gonna go for that for this province. I actually had the plans not to build a slave trader here, but a library, but I've yet to be able to unlock that, so for now we can screw that. The battle I'm looking for is actually the First Legion, which has now moved place to the front. We have encamped in front of there, while we've got these guys still depleted from being out there in the snow. So I think that would be an easy target to crush them. And I'm also now recruiting the 9th Legion, which I actually noticed that they've written the 9th Legion wrong here. The 9th in Roman numerals is 1x, so the 1 on the left side. So it's basically 10 minus 1 equals 9, while they have written it as 5 plus 4, which is not how you write it, because I think you only put 3 ones. So it goes up to 8, so it would be the V, and then 1, 2, 3 to be 8, but then when it crosses over to 9, it's 10 minus 1 instead. So they've actually written that wrong, as far as I know anyways. I did a quick Google search to make sure. Octojurum, the general here, has started to recruit some barbarian units, and I think we're going to maybe have it completely be just our own recruited barbarians. So we're expecting an attack there. If that's not the case, then I will go ahead and attack out. There's been a lot of agent activity, but they have been thwarted most of the time. They did, however, burn down the civil, the capital province, whatever this is, governor's place. And also these guys have finally got the thumb out of their ass and attacked us, which is kind of interesting because they are of Iberian culture. I wonder if the province is Iberian culture. But look at the troops. Clearly very Iberian, so if you don't know Iberian, Spanish. So they'll come across the mountains. With that said, we're gonna get an end turn and hopefully draw into battle with the enemy. Right, and then we have the end turn once more. Military sabotage. No, Regalius was sabotaged. We've got that. What exactly happened to him then? I can imagine that his movement range have been reduced, but not enough that he cannot reach the enemy army. It's just that he can actually reach them, which they have actually built a fort. So we're gonna have to assault them in a fort. So my advantage is no longer as great, but I think that's gonna be an interesting battle, and we could actually bring with us this barbarian force. So we're gonna have the barbarians march up first, and then we're gonna have Regalius, or Lucius as he's called. G. Lucius. Oh, they moved away, the bastards. Great. Well, we can chase them, and if we need to, we can chase them all the way over here, which would be great as well. Right, I'm not entirely sure how this worked out, but the Nervi actually somehow managed to attack my barbarian force without actually drawing the attention of the First Legion. So this is gonna go pretty crap, but we'll play it anyways. Right. Onwards to the lightly hilled forest. So we find ourselves in deep snow here, somehow cut off from the First Legion and about to be possibly slaughtered. I do, however, get a few defenses, and hopefully we'll be able to inflict a lot of damage on the enemy army. So let's go over that before they reach us. I can already see them out there in the forest. So if we start from the side, I've put these obstacles to deter cavalry. Well, not deter them. I'm actually hoping, of course, that they'll ride on and die on them. But obstacles for horses on either flank. And then in the center we've got the walls tapering in, so hopefully we'll funnel the enemy through here, where we got murder pits and the stones, sharp stone beds, which will reduce the enemy's speed, hopefully keep them longer within the slinger's range. And once the enemy is through that, which, I mean, it's 2,000 barbarians against, or it was 3,000 maybe, against our 1,000. So obviously they're gonna make it through. Once they make it through, I'm hoping to retreat over at this direction, where we have one unit hiding, hopefully being able to set off these fireballs, setting on these tar pits, or brimstone pits, and burning the enemy. We've seen that these are quite devastating, so hopefully the enemy, once through here, hopefully tired and clinging together, being forced together through how we've built all of this, moving through here and then being killed. That is the plan. Then if that works, that's another thing. One thing I'm having a problem with is every time I start this up again, it resets the timer to 20 minutes. So every first battle I do, I sort of play like a 5 minute or something into it, and then I'm like, oh wait a minute, it's still set to 20 minutes, and I have to go back. It wouldn't be that bad of a thing for this one, because I could move to the back of the map and it would almost take them like 5 minutes to reach me. It took them 4 minutes to reach here, so that would have been a quarter of the 20-minute battle. But then again, it wouldn't be very sportsmanship-like, would it? And I think I have pretty good chance still to defeat these guys. So they're about to come within range. I believe the archers are actually firing back at us. We're not firing back, they're firing at us because we are within range. I'm gonna use quick reload. Actually losing quite a bit of soldiers from their archers. But I don't see a point to try and pull back at this point right here. So we're just gonna hope that the enemy goes and dies. I'm gonna already move the general back. Right, come against us, you bastards. And now run on to the murder pits. Okay, now they're throwing spears at us. I'm gonna pull my men back. But you can see quite a few of them have done quite a bit of damage on the enemy. And they're being trapped on the walls, but some are getting through. So now we're gonna set up for this part of the battle, where I'm gonna set the slingers like that, the general there. And I mean, we'll see how well this goes. We're gonna set off the first one. And then, if that doesn't work too well, I'm gonna set off the second one when the enemy is closer to us. So here we go. Okay, I like how this one running the other way around. I mean, the hill does roll this way, doesn't it? It just rolls very slowly, so this does not work as well as I thought it would. And the enemy is kind of bypassing all of it.
Our general is under attack.
I kind of noticed that. Right, so that didn't work. I'm gonna tell this unit to set the actual thing on fire. And ooh, I don't think we're gonna get a better shot at this. This one's coming
men are wavering.
Too close. I'm gonna pull. Oh, this idiot is actually gonna move in front of it. These guys set fire to a lot of pits, but also themselves. These guys are dying.
Our men flee the field of battle.
We're pulling back towards the last point here. Let's see if I can get the general behind there and the slingers to the side. That is our guys. Right, we're not gonna get a better time. Set him off, hold the general, and then the slingers will try to move to the back. I like how this one's rolling the wrong direction, that's great. Headhunt. And frenzy. The slingers not doing too well. There is a few enemies being set on fire. So I wouldn't say it's a complete disaster. Even though it's very close to a close... Oh, there goes the general. Thing is, he was a Averni traitor. And decisive defeat. Right. Didn't really go as planned, but we probably killed a few of them, so that's probably enough. And here we have the results of the battle. A few units actually survived. The enemy only lost 400 men, while we lost 800. We can see the units that lost the most here among these. I mean, really these archers just cut us down. You can see this one killed 121, so that's pretty, yeah. And there's all the Averni bastards. Right, call to duty. Why would I call anyone to duty for that shit army? Why would I... All of these are Huh. Proconsular. Proconsulate. They're all actually there. Why would I waste someone on that shit army? Why can't I just kill it? I guess we'll take you then. What's the point? An honorable death. I don't know if it was that honorable. Right. Right. He brings bloody 3 stacks, and then these guys. I don't know where that one came from. First Legion is kind of in a pickle. Force marched straight into Octojurum. And then this shit force will be disbanded. Right, I think we're gonna end it here because I've done so much already that I fear cutting this down will end up with nothing. But we had a little bit of a battle, so I still count this as a pretty good episode. So with that said, we're gonna end it right here because I've dragged it out way too long, I believe. And yes, hopefully you guys enjoy this one, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye.